an explosion about 20 stories further down. I was at the base of the building when it happened. There was one huge bang, the building physically shook. Then a 2 or 3 bangs.
monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies. But not in your living room, on your TV. Don't let pay TV be the monster in your living room. Pay TV and cable TV companies are seeking the right to charge you for the very programs you now get free. If you want to stop pay TV and save free television, sign the petition in the lobby of this theater. Let your lawmakers know how you feel in the fight against pay TV and cable TV.
What's the deal? Welcome to the show.
Became a potential combat zone. Living in that zone were more than 100,000 persons of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of them American citizens, 1/3 aliens. We knew that some among them were potentially dangerous. Most were loyal. But no one knew what would happen among this concentrated population if Japanese forces should try to invade our shores. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move. This picture tells how the mass migration was accomplished. Neither the Army nor the War Relocation Authority relished the idea of taking men, women, and children from their homes, their shops, and their farms. So the military and civilian agencies alike determined to do the job as a democracy should, with real consideration for the people involved. First attention was given to the problems of sabotage and espionage. Now, here at San Francisco, for example, convoys were being made up within sight of possible Axis agents. There were more Japanese in Los Angeles than in any other area. In nearby San Pedro, houses and hotels occupied almost exclusively by Japanese were within a stone's throw of a naval air base, shipyards, oil wells. Japanese fishermen had every opportunity to watch the movement of our ships. Japanese farmers were living close to vital aircraft plants. So as a person,
hello, Lemonade. How you doing?
Required to move from critical areas such as these. But of course, this limited evacuation was a solution to only part of the problem. The larger problem, the uncertainty of what would happen among these people in case of a Japanese invasion, still remained. That is why the commanding general of the Western Defense Command determined that all Japanese within the coastal area should move inland. Immediately, the Army began mapping evacuation areas and for a time encouraged the Japanese to leave voluntarily. The trouble for the voluntary evacuees soon threatened in their new locations. So the program was quickly put on a planned and protected basis. Thereafter, the American citizen Japanese and Japanese aliens made their plans in accordance with Army orders. Notices were posted. All persons of Japanese descent were required to register. They gathered in their own churches and schools, and the Japanese themselves cheerfully handled the enormous paperwork involved in the migration. Civilian physicians made preliminary medical examinations. Government agencies helped in 100 ways.
How you doing, guys?
They helped the evacuees find tenants for their farms. They helped businessmen lease, sell, or store their property. Now, this aid was financed by the government, but quick disposal of property often involved financial sacrifice for the evacuees. Now the actual migration got underway.
What's up, Jonathan? So did you hear that? It often resulted in financial sacrifice for the evacuees, not for the government. Walking home from the gym. Right on. I'm doing beer curls. Well, good for you, buddy. Right on.
The Army provided fleets of vans.
I actually got to get on that gym thing.
And buses
That's
to
a
move
good.
people
That's
to
a good
assembly
vibe,
centers.
dude.
The evacuees cooperated wholeheartedly. The many loyal among them felt
Thanks
that
for
this
popping
was a
in.
sacrifice they could make in behalf of America's war effort. In small towns as well as large, up and down the coast, the moving continued.
Hey, Jesse.
Behind them, they left shops and homes they had occupied.
So yeah, you hear that? So I can't spell. Yeah, I've had a couple today too. We were spraying all day. We had a good day though. We were working in basically on top of the world. It was amazing. Yeah. So I just thought I'd show you how quickly your comfortable lifestyle can change. I mean, this happened within our history, like our grandmothers and that. And this happened in Canada and the United States. And I just wanted to show it. I found it quite interesting. It's just a couple months. It only takes a couple months of fear propaganda. And people will willingly give up their businesses. Hey, Footprints. How's it going, buddy?
Their fishing fleets were impounded and left under guard. Now they were taken to racetracks and fairgrounds where the Army almost overnight had built assembly centers.
Almost overnight. But not overnight. Probably had a few months. Hey, Teal. Probably had a few months notice, eh? Maybe?
Lived here until new pioneer communities could be completed on federally owned lands in the interior. Santa Anita Racetrack, for example, suddenly became a community of about 17,000 persons. The Army provided housing.
And Walmart suddenly became a community of... Hey, loving mother, how's it going? Moonflower, sorry. I always call you loving mother, I don't know. It's my thing.
The residents of the new community set about developing a way of life as nearly normal as possible. They held church services, Protestant, Catholic, and Buddhist. They issued their own newspaper, organized nursery schools, and some made camouflage nets for the United States Army.
Wow, and then I guess other people that did other favors got paid more. You see how it works?
Meanwhile, in Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, and elsewhere, quarters were being built where they would have an opportunity to work and more space in which to live. When word came that these new homes were ready, the final movement began.
The final movement.
At each relocation center, evacuees were met by an advanced contingent of Japanese who had arrived some days earlier and who now acted as guides. Naturally, the newcomers looked about with some curiosity. They were in a new area, on land that was raw, untamed, but full of opportunity. Here they would build schools, educate their children, reclaim the desert.
They would reclaim
their own physicians
the land.
Took precautions to guard against epidemics. They opened advanced Americanization classes for college students, who in turn would instruct other groups. They made a rough beginning at self-government, for while the Army would guard the outer limits of each area, community life and security within were largely up to the Japanese themselves.
Oh, yeah?
They immediately saw the need for developing civic leaders. At weekly community meetings, citations were given to the block leaders who had worked most diligently. Special emphasis was put on the health and care of these American children of Japanese descent.
And the narrative begins again. Wow.
Their parents, most of whom are American citizens, and their grandparents, who are aliens, immediately wanted to go to work. At Manzanar, they built a log house and began rooting guayuli cuttings. The plants, when mature, will add to our rubber supply.
Look at the stripes. You see that? Catch that? How's it going, Six Nation? What's up, buddy?
At Parker, they undertook the irrigation of first...
I'm just showing that how fast your life can change because of other people's decisions. So let's continue.
Fertile desert lands. Meanwhile, in areas away from the coast and under appropriate safeguards, many were permitted to enter private employment, particularly to work in sugar beet fields where labor was badly needed.
Yeah. So, they break you just ever so slightly just for their own advantage. Just see how that works.
Now, this brief picture is actually the prologue to a story that is yet to be told. The full story will begin to unfold when the raw lands of the desert turn green, when all adult hands are at productive work on public lands or in private employment. It will be fully told only when circumstances permit the loyal American citizens once again to enjoy the freedom we in this country cherish, and when the disloyal, we hope, have left this country for good.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, we are setting a standard for the rest of the world in the treatment of people who may have loyalties to an enemy nation. We are protecting ourselves without violating...
Hey, what's up, Eddie?
...decency.
Right on, Tito.
This fundamental...
That's, something, that's some good advice, and I'm not going to knock you for that. It's something I probably should do. So right on, buddy. How's it going? What's up, Eddie? Fucking rights, buddy. I'm just showing some old footage of World War II, I guess, government oversteps, to say the least.
Decency no matter what our enemies do. But of course, we hope most earnestly that our example will influence the Axis powers in their treatment of Americans.
Like, y'all gotta admit, like, we literally went through the baby version of this, all of us, but it was a global thing, if you know what I mean. This same system has been practiced on little countries, little puppet countries, proxy wars, all over the world. So finally, they're trying to implement it on a full scale. And safety, your safety, and the preservation of the climate is the reason. So you better check it out. Oh, buddy, it's so deep, man. Like, honestly, Eddie, I've been looking into some of this shit, and I don't even really want to talk about what I actually think. You know what I mean? That's how bad it gets. That's how bad it gets. Yeah. So that was just a little film on the archives. What happened during World War II, which is in most of our, recorded memory. Yeah. Yeah, it always has been, I think, When you really break it down, and this is going to sound crazy, but I really think a lot of the myths that we're told have a lot of truth in them. Hey, what's up, Tropical? How's it going, buddy? So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of play out that video because I think it's important, because history does repeat itself. There's nothing new under the sun. Oh yeah, interesting, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely, you know, this goes right down to the Ark of the Covenant type stuff. You know, the whole control of the masses, how the priest class would control the leaders and then manipulate the leaders, and they'd studied every nuance of the leaders because they put them in place, so they know how they're going to lead. You know what I mean? It's the hidden hand. And it's interesting when you start to see some of the symbols, you start to, and I'm by no means an expert at all, by no means, but I catch a few things, right? And there's an obvious one. It's called the hidden hand, and it's when you see a guy and he's got his hand inside of his coat, so he's touching his stomach with his hand, and it's inside like the buttons. And many historical pictures of historical figures, they're doing that pose, and that's called the hidden hand pose. And it's interesting, man, just because the stuff that I've been checking out, it gets deep, and it's hard for me to try to articulate it, but I try. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's with the Admiralty Law, because even with the MNAR, I'll say, you guys know what I'm talking about, you're not a human. And with your birth certificate, the way your birth certificate is set up, it's already a straw version of yourself. So apparently there's a bank account in the Federal Reserve which has, I think it's called your Codex number or something. I don't remember the name. But there's certain numbers on your birth certificate that if you get, you can take advantage of it. I don't quite know exactly how to do it, but I'm just kind of getting the gist of it. It's all the law of shipping, and we're basically products. So the way the banking system was set up, and it's interesting, the banking system was set up on a place called Jekyll Island, and Rockefeller and JP Morgan and a few of the other guys, I don't remember all their names, met there. But in Rockefeller's house, he built his house on a monument, which was a monument to Moloch. And if you know what that means, that's where they made the deal for the Federal Reserve, was on top of the monument to Moloch. Now, if you know what that means, that's fucking weird, and that totally explains why our system is the way it is. How's it going, Rasta Commune? What's going on, buddy? Yeah, exactly, Eddie. You know it. It's this humanist belief that has been, whatever it is, it's this the spiritual warfare or whatever, the good and evil, whatever it is. But there's a point, right? And to me, it's the kids. That's where it stops. And that's all I'm going to talk about that. Just because, whatever. But come on. So if there's symbols and language that is covert and occult, that, okay, if I was going to hide some like super secret technology shit, I would invent my own language to do it. And then only a certain people would learn that language, right? And so that way, when you're talking, you have a thing called double speak. And so if you know, you know. And that's kind of how it gets thrown in front of our face. And part of it is and I'm going to say this, but they have to tell you what they're doing. It doesn't matter whether it's in a joke or if it's on a fucking fictional TV series. But as long as it's been put out there, you have to be smart enough to pick up on it. And that's what the rule is, I think. And that's just what I get from my years of doing what I've been doing. But yeah. Yeah, it's like it is a weird balance, man, too, because some of the I don't even want to really get into this. Really, this is a little deep because I'm not educated enough on it to start spewing what I think. But there's some weird shit, just put it that way, out there that's occult and kind of running things. So to get on a little bit of a lighter note, I saw John Wick, the 4th one, and I've been meaning to talk about this actually. But John Wick, I think that's the Illuminati, in my opinion. I think that's okay. If you want to see how the Illuminati work, that's John Wick. And he's trying to get out of it. That's what I think that movie is about. I really do. The whole series and everything. But I saw the 4th one. And unless you want to watch fighting scenes for 2 hours, there was no plot. I fell asleep, but I didn't like it. It's just my review on the John Wick movie. The fighting scenes are amazing. Actually, he goes to do this one grapple, and I guess he's doing it himself, or it's not CGI, but you can tell he kind of fucks up. I caught that anyways. But it's not like I'm a grappling expert or nothing, but I can see it. Oh, yeah. I don't even want to go there, Lemonade. Like, really? Okay, just put it this way. They had a sheep. 30 years ago? They did a sheep. That's when they told us. So what did they have 30 years before that? Because, the complex has things way, way before the public does. So once the public knows about something, it's probably already, like, working, all the bugs are out of it, whatever, right? Oh, yeah. Well, I don't follow a lot of the entertainment stuff too much anymore just because I know where it comes from. I'll be honest, I still have my nostalgia where I still, revel in the rock and roll I grew up on and whatever. But I ultimately know where it comes from, and that's why I make my own music. It's about the intent. But yeah, these guys are these cats nowadays, you know, especially with the social media stuff, and I mean, it's still controlled. It really is. But the perception of being able to become famous, or being the it person, and drama sells. So people are just doing absolutely the stupidest things for views, and getting rewarded for it. So it really is degrading our society, you know, and I'm a bit to blame at that myself, but it is what it is. I'm trying to uplift it a bit. Hey Danny, what's up, buddy? Thanks for popping in. I was just watching an old Chinese or an old Japanese relocation video. Let's see what else. Maybe I'll put something else on. Okay, let's check this out. Let's see if I can play it though. Oh yeah, I can. Here we go. So this is I haven't seen this, so let's just check it out. No, it's not playing any music. I guess it's just a fire. Well, here's a Berkeley fire. Interesting. I thought there'd be some sound, but I'll have to put my own. How much? Yeah, dude, I just put some gas in. $20. It was like it's like I just squeezed the gas pump, and it was $20. It's crazy. I guess $500. Hey, I bet it was about $500, buddy. Okay, here, let's see. Let's try and find something here for you guys. I gotta get my presentation game on point here. Here we go. Wow. Fuck, dude.
This is the Kremlin, citadel of Russian communism. Looking at Russia, we might see it as a country to be studied, as we study other nations of the world. Yet we know that Russia today is regarded as a grave threat to our nation, to our freedom, to the peace of the world. Why so? What makes it a threat? Looking closer, we see a clue. Public display of giant portraits of communist leaders. These leaders, by their actions, have caused the world to stand guard. Here, in Russia, you see the reason why so many nations are building up their defenses. Here, in Russia, you see the reason why we are spending billions of dollars in defense production. Why your family is paying the highest taxes in our history.
Yes, scare.
The leaders of Russia tell us their only concern is the defense of their own nation. Is this so? Or are they ambitious for world
Look
conquest?
at it. He's got his hidden hand. You see that?
A question, communism.
I just was telling you about that.
Ever hear of Karl Marx?
Here.
Or are they ambitious for
See that?
world conquest?
question.
See that
A
shit?
question communism.
Told you. It's part of a plan.
Ever hear
It's,
of
you
Karl
know.
Marx? In his mind, communism was born more than 100 years ago. He looked at the world and saw men as divided into two classes, workers and capitalists. In the Communist Manifesto, he called upon the workers, the proletarians, to rise up and overthrow their capitalistic masters. He cried, "The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries,
You guys gotta
unite."
watch this.
This was the promise and the challenge of communism. In Russia, the Tsar was the government. To support the wealthy aristocracy, millions of peasants toiled in virtual slavery. The Cossacks, dreaded police of the Tsar, enforced tyrannical laws. Here was fertile ground for the ideas of communism. For here, indeed, the people had nothing to lose but their chains. The chains of the imperial government. In 1914, the Tsar sent his troops into the war that swept Europe. For more than 2 years they fought. While at home, people suffered from shortages, brought about the
Wow.
despotism and corruption of the imperial government. The people grew rebellious. Only
You see how the propaganda films work, though? I find these things fascinating. I really do. It shows how powerful groupthink is.
a strong army could sustain the Tsar in power. But revolution was preached on the battlefield, too, to an army
Oh, I
broken by
bet.
corruption. Inevitably, the Russian army surrendered. And with the defeated army returning under the banners of revolution, the imperial government fell, and revolution...
Danny, I gotta talk to you. Like, the trip that we took just to Manitoba, fuck, man, we're still paying for it, for fuck's sakes.
reigned. The chains were broken, and in violence was born the government of the proletarians. But a government needs leaders. Ever hear of Nikolai Lenin? He was the first leader of communist Russia. Leon Trotsky was another.
Trotsky. Solzhenitsyn.
Lenin lived but a few years, and out of the vicious struggle for power that followed his death, Joseph Stalin emerged as undisputed leader. Here was a new face, but in the background was an old one, Karl Marx. He established the ultimate aim of...
So, I don't know the exact facts, but apparently Lenin was smuggled in a train up into Russia, and France and Britain, they all knew about it. They backed him financially and everything to bring in his Bolsheviks and cause shit. And the Rothschilds apparently got the mineral resources of Russia because of that. This is kind of an interesting little...
communism as world revolution.
Because that's what it's about, is the mineral resources. Any idiot can be the leader of a country. You know, these guys are doing alchemy, minerals, and, you know, transforming matter. Crazy shit.
And the rulers of communist Russia, while firmly establishing their authority at home, created an international organization to stir up revolution throughout the world. Communism was on the march. Stalin was in the Kremlin. But what of the people?
Yeah, you should vlog that, Danny. That's a down in San Francisco. Why the fuck are you going there? For fuck's sakes. That's why I'm showing this commie film.
The proletarians would sought to win a new world.
You're
Their
going
new
to
world
New
might
Age
look
communist
promising.
fucking
But although the
San
land had
Francisco.
been taken away from the capitalists, the workers didn't get it. Under communism, virtually everything belongs to the state. The individual has little right to own property or to plan his own life. He's told where to work with his employer. Little freedom to leave his job or seek a better one. Whereas we believe...
Listen, you better take the 5 on the way home, though, for sure. Like, seriously.
And our religions teach that the individual is all important. Communism denies religion and debases the individual to a part of the vast machine that powers the state. Children are taken early and molded to fit the machine. Here is no search for truth. The government writes the textbook, and the children are taught to accept communism and their fate without question.
Without question.
The Kremlin runs all elections.
Sounds like the last 2 years, doesn't it?
The same. If anyone dares to disagree, he's given a speedy trial without benefit of jury. Such traitors may be immediately executed or sent off to prison. The proletarians have nothing to but their chains. They have a world to win. Although the people of Russia gained little, the rulers gained mightily in power.
The
They
state.
built up a giant war machine, looking forward to the day when their flag would fly over the entire world. Then came the rise of Nazi Germany, another power bent on world conquest. The two nations joined forces, and Russia, believing itself safe from aggression, launched an invasion of Finland.
Yeah, I bet, buddy. I'd love to. Dude, we gotta chat. It'd be cool.
And other neighboring nations. For the first time, the world learned that the communists were no longer waiting for world revolution, but were now resorting to outright military aggression to extend their power.
Yep.
After the Nazis turned on their former allies, we supplied Russia with immense quantities of military equipment to wage war against our common foe. And how did Russia come out of the war? In 1917, at the time of the revolution, Russia was already a land of vast area. Soon after the end of World War II, Russia had occupied many new territories, bringing additional millions of people under communist control, and serving notice that Soviet Russia was now a world power to be reckoned with. United with Russia in war, we strove to preserve that unity in peace.
Bridget, would you quit trying to stir up trouble?
We helped organize the United Nations, in which the nations of the world have mutually pledged to cooperate in fostering world peace and progress. Andrei Gromyko signed for Russia. But in the first post-war Italian elections, the communists created disorder in an attempt to gain...
We're learning about communism here, Bridget. Okay? Just saying.
control of the government. Once more, the world was reminded...
I always got to put Bridget at the back of the class.
that basic in the idea of communism is the plan of world revolution, and that Russian communism has stepped beyond that plan to achieve world domination through aggression. In Indochina and Malaya, communist aggression has incited rebellion against established government. In France, communist aggression has fomented strikes against essential industries in attempts to discredit the free government. In Iran, the communists have incited rioting and have preached hatred and distrust of the Western nations. In Eastern Germany, they have openly opposed the West. In China, the communists have established their own puppet government.
So, guys, don't trust the commies, okay? Listen to this.
In Korea, communist aggression has come into actual combat with forces of the United Nations.
She's at the back of the class. You're in detention.
And with the most deadly of all weapons available to the Russians, no peoples in the world can feel secure against this aggression. How are we meeting this challenge? Yes?
Okay, just for that, Bridget, who was the communist leader after Lenin?
One way is by helping the free world fight starvation and poverty and suffering. Conditions that pave the way for communist infiltration.
5 seconds, Bridget. You have to answer.
We are also supplying equipment for the free nations to develop their own resources and raise their living standards. Another way we are meeting the challenge is by military alliance with some of the other free nations for mutual aid in opposing direct communist aggression. And we are...
The answer is Stalin, Bridget. The answer is Stalin.
Building up our own military defense. But do these preparations mean that we have abandoned hope for peace? No. In the United Nations, we are continually seeking a workable plan for living in peace with communist Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Because we want peace. But we do not want this.
Well, you didn't answer fast
We
enough.
believe in freedom. Freedom, born of the conviction that every person is a child of God and is therefore of supreme worth. For these people, for ourselves, for everyone, we want freedom, not tyranny.
Yes, we want freedom. There we go. I thought that was an appropriate one to kind of drop. So, yeah, me too, buddy. You know, I got trails to blaze. You know what I'm saying? What's that album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. I wish I could play some songs without getting copyright, but I can't. So we won't. Anyways, guys, thank you. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I'm just, I'm trying to get my flow. I'm going to try and do lives more because honestly, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a minute and I'd like to try to make $1 off of it, but, legit wise or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to fucking sell, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to be doing OnlyFans. Trust me on that. But, yeah, no, but whatever, even if I don't, I'll still do it. I dig broadcasting and trying to make a show. So I'm going to try to improve and try to get the workflow and the show flow better. That's the goal. So thanks for popping in, and I always thanks for hanging out. I always love it.